Hi, performers and achievers. Welcome to Performers and Achievers Daily with me, Raj Gavurla. In today's episode, we're going to talk about the framework of the following four. I was recently talking at a place and delivering this message, and it dawned upon me as I was speaking and talking that it would be something beneficial for my podcast listeners. And so here it is. What is one thing for you to learn, to implement and apply, take your communication to the next level? Now, this is very important. And just pick one. And it could be anything from the way you show that you have respect and manners towards yourself and someone else, or it could be just working on your eye contact, tone of voice, body language, or it could be just your vocabulary. For example, do you have standards? Or if you do have standards, what are new standards? So here's an example with communication. And this is mostly communicating not only to myself, however, this also projects on to the other person, individual that I'm talking to, or individuals I'm talking to. And it may sound like a very simple, easy thing, and it is. However, it's simple, it's not easy. And that is when I am talking to someone sitting down, okay, or let's say I'm watching TV, and it's not one of those days where I'm in the recliner reclining back. I'm watches TV or in a meeting, talking to someone. Well, it used to be, well, let me tell you what I do now. My new standard is that my feet are flat on the floor. My feet are flat on the floor. What does this do? How does this benefit me and the other person? Well, first of all, it takes my intensity or my awareness and my engagement and just clarity. It adds all of that. Just a simple thing. And so, do I need to make effort to do it? Yes, because it's a new standard. So sometimes I self talk, use self talk, instructional self talk, motivational self talk, tell myself, keep my feet planted. So, what was I doing before? Well, before I was still engaged with the other person, connecting with them, making eye contact, talking to them, etc., and communicating to myself well as well. However, I would sit and I would cross my feet at my ankles. I cross my feet at my ankles. Now, I wouldn't think until I started to look at and started to evaluate and reflect on the things that I'm talking about here. What is one thing in communication that could, for me to implement and apply to the next level? And so now that I have this new standard, it has really benefited not only me, the other person I'm talking to. I talk with more clarity. The words come to me easier. I'm able to connect and engage with the other person easier. And because of that, I feel like I'm making progress. It's as simple as planting my feet when I'm sitting down. So the next item in the framework is what is one thing you can learn to implement and apply in your leadership? In your leadership. Notice I didn't put leadership first. The reason is because without communication skills, how is someone able to have leadership? And so your leadership, right? So that's very important. So what is that skill? As far as an example, I think an example is just understanding the importance of empathizing and having compassion and being able to set people up for success and not just hire somebody or work with someone and you're not aligned or congruent towards success, succeeding for various reasons. Maybe some things were assumed. Uh, it's hard to determine all the factors. However, as you go along, you can see where there's something that needs to be done and work together on doing that. So that's leadership. The next is your support system. Your support system. And so you may be adding something to your support system. I don't know what it could be. However, maybe you're learning a little more about your support system and how and what your support system needs now because of something that's happened. Maybe you have a condition. Maybe something else occurred. I don't know. Um, maybe you're working on a new project and you don't have the right tools. So you need to have that support system. And then the next one in the framework is your team or teamwork. No matter how independent you are, eventually you're going to be working with, working together, helping somebody, supporting someone. There's usually someone. Either you're doing for each other or you're serving, right? Could be you're serving a customer, helping a customer, supporting a customer. The customer's on your team also. Customers involved in teamwork. But what is one thing for you to learn, implementing and applying the learning? Take your team or teamwork to the next level. So that's the framework. What I realized is, and this is what I said in my talk to them, is that they'll tremendously benefit from this throughout their life. Throughout their life. And this is probably something that you should strategically do every so often instead of something that just haphazardly occurs. Because everybody, and I mean everybody, does have could benefit from communication leadership, their support system, their teamwork. It's the one thing in each to learn, implement and apply the learning to the next level. That's what I have for you today. If you like my podcast, like it, and make a comment in the comment section. For those of you who are interested in private, personal, professional, confidential services and programs with me, visit my website, rajgavurla.com. Fill out the brief form, and we will contact you as soon as we can. Enjoy your day.